live plein air painting of Castle Howard in North Yorkshire with royal artist Richard Gower and me, David Harper. Hello, welcome to North Yorkshire in England on a very cold, chilly but bright January morning. And in this video we're going to combine antiques in the form of one of England's finest country houses, in fact it's a castle, and art, because we're going to watch royal artist Richard Gower in front of your eyes paint this massive antique, this castle. You'll watch the painting unfold. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a piece of art that's collectible right now, but also we're creating an antique of tomorrow. Talk to me, Rich, how are you feeling?
Fine. It's not as cold as I thought it would be now. I think it's the walk down, isn't it?
Are you sweating already carrying all the kit?
Yeah. But it's a shame the sky's so grey, but the forecast was a little bit of blue sky coming through, wasn't it? But
it's also a shame for the gardeners, actually, isn't it? The gardener's making a racket. Shall we go and tell them to stop, Rich, or do you think we'll be kicked off the premises?
They're probably kicked off the premises, really. I would have thought. Strangers like us. Yeah, but it's, I mean, as far as I know, they've had a really tough Christmas, haven't they?
In what way?
Busy, with all the Christmas decorations, so...
Actually, did you come? I did. I came to the Christmas exhibition here.
Oh, did you?
Oh, it was amazing, actually. Excellent. The Christmas decorations, yeah. World-renowned Castle Howard for their Christmas decorations.
They are fabulous, I must admit, they are fabulous.
So what have you brought? Are you painting in oils?
Yeah, but there is a little bit of acrylic as well. That doesn't worry me at all, because it dries a bit quicker. But yeah, it's mainly oil that I'll paint in. Just put my palette down.
So you prepared the canvas, obviously.
Yeah, I've prepared it in a blue again because there is a little bit of blue coming through.
Artistic license, Rich.
Yeah. It's remember not to drink that.
Go and admit it. You know you've done it before.
Yeah, I have. My flask is down there. So again, I'm just going to outline with some Prussian blue, thin down, just to get the feel of the shape. Again, it'll be finished back in the studio, but we'll get a good feel for it.
Let me just take a look at that, Rich. That is, I mean, we're going to see the finalised painting at the end of the video, but this is fascinating, I think, to me and to the viewers. That is the first mark on the canvas. So
yep,
just take a good look at that, everybody, and wait until you see the final finished painting at the end of this video.
Which will be finished in the studio because it isn't that warm, is it?
I know, no, he's not going to do it here and now, but we will, yeah, you'll do the basic bones of it, Rich.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then he'll finish it in the studio.
So just with Prussian blue, just to get a feel of this fabulous dome. I think I'll just later on get a whisper of the windows in. There's that many, and then the detail of that can be done later on. The chimney pots, the wonderful Baroque statues above, perspective of the building going back, slight arch there, parapet. I think what has always drawn me to Castle Howard, it's just the structure of the building from the south side where we are. There's a dome there, and the iconic backdrop to the films, especially Bridehead Revisited. We've got a wall which comes in here. It's amazing with these things as well, how busy the tops of the buildings are, with the amazing chimneys. A chimney here.
I've just got to show you what is behind the canvas today. Well, not just Richard Gower, but look at the lake. It's as pretty behind us as it is in front. And I want to introduce you to today's live audience. Admittedly, I've had more lively live audience members, but here we have 3 Castle Howard swans, and they are standing on freezing cold ice. Right, Richard, I'm going to have a wander around the house.
All right, buddy. Yep, I'll see you in a bit.
See you soon. Okay, come with me. I'm desperate to give you a close-up look at this building. It's something I referred to earlier on as an antique. Well, Castle Howard has probably never been referred to as an antique in its history before, but to me it just makes perfect sense. It is one of the biggest, most beautiful antiques on the planet. And the reason I say that is because of the detailing. The detailing in this building, well, it's astonishing. As fine, as grand, as nice, as good as any antique piece I've ever seen. And to create this antique in the form of a building, this masterpiece, it took 100 years. Work began in around 1699 under the reign of William III and finished around 100 years later under the reign of George III. But more than that, it took the lifetime's work of 3 earls to complete the building of Castle Howard. But all that work paid off, because what's really special here is this stately family home, after all these years, is still lived in, cared for and maintained by the Howard family. Right, let's go and see how Richard's getting on.
There's 3 either side here, but because of the perspective, I've only seen 2 windows there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Let's leave Rich to counting and painting his windows. Don't worry, we'll double check he's got the right numbers of windows later. I want to show you the Atlas fountain at Castle Howard. Interesting thing, this. Look at that. Now, for those of you that thought I might have been pushing it a bit by referring to Castle Howard as an antique, well, what you're looking at here, the Atlas fountain, is an antique. It was bought by the Howard family in 1851 from the Great Exhibition, the Crystal Palace exhibition in London. It was transported up by train from London to Yorkshire and installed in around 1851. Now, you're looking at it raw here, and I hope the Howards don't mind, but I think this really shows the beauty of this sculpture, this work of art, this antique. The colour, the patination, the quality here, it is dripping in all of those things, all of these things that we search for when we're looking at antiques. It has it all. Now, come back in the summertime and you'll see the pool full and the fountains flowing, and you'll see it in all its grandeur. But I think it looks, the Atlas fountain here, as beautiful in the winter months when it's drying out as it does in full flow summer. And now the view you get from the Atlas fountain looking back towards the house. Right, let's go back towards Richard Gower.
Can't see the gravel drive way down, but three big windows here. And then we've got some carvings within the top here.
Now that's given me a good idea. Let me show you, viewers, some of the detail in the carvings around Castle Howard. The architecture here is English Baroque at its absolute finest. It's flamboyant, it's detailed. It cost an absolute fortune to create. It would cost even more to create today. I just wonder sometimes who would create a building like this today. I don't know whether it's possible, but here's my favourite bit. Look, this is the Carlisle side of the Howard family crest on top of an arch just somewhere round the side of the building. Staying on the theme of styles for a moment, let's go back to the painting, to Richard Gower, and let's hear an artist think out loud as he's working.
So it's looking a bit John Piper-ish. He was one of the great war artists, but mainly painted in watercolour, capturing it. The wall is a bit darker here. With a grey. Magnificent dome. Inside, the painting on the ceiling is an absolute corker. But the great hall, the great entrance is just something else. When you go in. The thing with buildings is, and this is where it'll tidy up in the studio, all verticals are vertical. We've got the perspective, but verticals are always vertical. Right, so I'm just going to put a bit of the grass in. It's not quite as bright as this at the moment, but we just want a bit of colour in. There's definitely some yellow in with that. And this time of the year, also the grass is not as lush. And we have got trees over here. There will be more done with the grass. But if we keep the blue coming through, we can get the sort of dirty of winter's grass. So now I'm going to do a little bit of the skying. It's very grey. There's a bit of yellow in. Now we have a little bit of yellow in the sky. And the thing is with painting things which are light, like sky, it's usually more often than not thicker paint. And the blue gives a good edge to this type of work as a frame. Right, I'll just stand back and have a look, see if anything jutting out. It's just an impression. It's grabbing this moment here and these weather conditions. It will be tightened up in the studio. Right, now sponge just to wisp across. Just to soften a bit. Again, but I'll thicken that up. And just the highlights on the carvings.
At this point you might be wondering a couple of things, like why is Castle Howard called a castle when it doesn't really look like a castle? And where on earth is the front door? Well, there is the main entrance and the front door to Castle Howard. And when it comes to front doors, it's a pretty good one, I've got to say, and so well designed, because when you walk through that front door and the door looking out to where Richard Gower is right now is open, you get the most magnificent sight of one of my favourite features, and that is the Atlas Fountain. You can see wandering around Castle Howard that it's not a fortified structure, so it isn't, strictly speaking, a castle. But it's not unusual for country houses like this to be called castles when they were built on the grounds of former castles.
Just a bit of dry brush gives the effect of balustrades. It's just light and shade basically, it's the colours that you see, but it's nice to see the brush marks. A bit more like there's columns in here, but I don't want to overwork it. I'll get more detail in later.
Talking of detail and columns, take a close look at those columns. And in fact, every single inch of Castle Howard is worked. There is no random stonework here. Everything is designed, thought out and built, made specifically for a certain piece of the castle. That's why I refer to this as an antique. That's what it is. Now let's move on to revealing the final Richard Gower Royal Artist painting of Castle Howard.
So we have got a little bit of blue sky coming through, yay!
I hope you've nearly finished, Rich. It's freezing.
I thought you got lost.
Have you lost a finger?
Not yet.
It's getting colder. Right, let's have a look. Let me have a look. I'm not going to turn around yet. I'm not going to turn around yet.
I think we're getting there.
Oh my goodness gracious me.
So we can see that the windows need tidying up a little bit, but a bit of blue sky came through, which was helpful.
I saw it as I was wandering around.
Yeah.
It just started coming through. Rich,
Yeah, yeah.
that is looking unbelievable.
But we're getting the structure of the building, but it's your brush marks when you get up close, you know what I mean? And this is what it's like when you go to the National Gallery in London and Monet's Houses of Parliament up close. You can't tell what it is, and then when you come back, you know.
That looks absolutely magnificent. Now I know you're going to need time in the studio with this.
Yeah.
But we can see the basics of it. And when I mean basics in the nicest possible way, because that is as beautiful as the castle.
It's just instinctive getting the brush marks down, you know, just paint, but it's just instinctive just getting the brush marks down. You know, with the mist, this is more faded out, and normally the sun's this way, I think south facing, so you get, but we're getting a feel for it. So it's a wintry scene, even though the grass looks quite lush here, but
the grass is lush actually. I know
it's not bad.
It's not bad. It is January, by the way, viewers.
Yeah. It's not bad, is it? So.
And it is very, very cold. I've got to tell you that. It's very cold.
It is very cold.
But it's well worthwhile.
Oh dear.
Rich, you're doing magnificently.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Is it time for studio or what?
I think so.
Yeah.
Nearly now. I've got enough. I've taken a photograph just to get a feel, but it's not far away though, David. It's not far away. I want to tidy up this, but I want to keep this quick, almost study feel to it. You know.
I can feel the almost urgency and the desperation to get the image on the canvas. It's just poured out of you, Rich.
It's you don't think about it, you just do it. You know. I've been talking as of.
Have you?
Doing it.
I hope you haven't been talking about me whilst I've been away, because
I've
I've
said.
this.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I had to sit through hours and hours of video.
Dash it.
It better be interesting because I'm going to waste half a day on this.
Oh, that David Harper, he just wanders off, leaves me to it.
Honestly, yeah. I'll tell you what I'll do. I think it's lunchtime for Richard Gower.
Yeah, for both of us. Yeah.
I believe so. We need a warm-up
bit of lunch. Yeah.
and a bit of lunch. And then you need to get back to the studio
Yeah.
and do all the hard work, all the finishing off.
Nope.
Right. And a couple of days in the Richard Gower studio, and this is the final painting by royal artist Richard Gower of Castle Howard. I just want to give you some close-up shots here so you can get an idea, feel for the colours, the texture, particularly the brush marks. They are vital. Rich talks about brush marks all of the time, and you really can see each and every stroke and then put them together. Here is the finished painting of Castle Howard by Richard Gower.